The iPhone 17 Pro Max feels like the future until you see this, the OPPO Find X9 and the Find X9 Pro. So let's take a look at both phones and then see a camera comparison with the iPhone 17 Pro Max. First of all, when we're considering flagship phones, it's absolutely critical that they have a great display. And in this case, that's true for the 6.59-inch display on 5X9 and the 6.7-inch display on the Find X9 Pro. So here's what they have in common and also what's different. Both are beautiful 10-bit AMOLED displays with only 1.15mm bezels all the way around, which is the thinnest on any OPPO phone. Now, both displays have a variable refresh rate of up to 120 Hz, but only the Pro model goes down to 1 Hz. We're getting 1800 nits full screen brightness and 3600 nits peak outdoors brightness, so they'll be great outdoors, but they also go all the way down to 1 nit minimal brightness, so they're comfortable to look at in low light. Now, both are 100% DCI-P3, so they're color accurate displays, and both are HDR Vivid certified and support Dolby Vision and HDR10+. Now for the differences. So other than the size, we're getting 460 pixels per inch on the base model versus 450 pixels per inch on the Pro. That's not really a major difference. The base model has a higher PWM dimming rate at 3840 Hz versus 2160 Hz on the Pro, and the Pro model has a slightly higher resolution. Now both displays look fantastic if you're watching content. Now personally, I'm going to prefer a larger display for that, so I'm going to give the edge to the Pro, but that's really just about the size, and you won't be disappointed with either of them. Now moving on to design, OPPO chose a clean and modern design that features flat edges that are slightly contoured along the frame, so they're comfortable to hold and they don't dig into your hand. This is especially important when you're gaming. And the camera module is positioned on the top left corner, so it's not hitting your hand when you're holding it in landscape mode. The base model is slightly thinner, and while both phones have a customizable snap key, only the Pro model has an additional quick button. So let's look at what it can do. So the snap key can be assigned one of several functions. You can use it to quickly take a screenshot, turn on translate, start or stop an audio recording, turn the flashlight on or off, open the camera, and then you can select which mode you want opened automatically. This is super convenient. You can toggle do not disturb on and off. You can toggle between ring, vibrate, and silent mode. And by default, it's linked to the AI Mindspace feature. Now, a short press captures the screen content, a long press adds a voice note, and a double press opens MySpace. Now, as you'd expect, the Pro model is bigger and slightly heavier, and for colors, the base model is available in titanium gray, space black, and velvet red, which is awesome, while the Pro model is available in silk white and titanium charcoal. All right, so now let's talk about the camera system, where both models come with a really special fourth camera, and while both of them are powered by the Hasselblad master camera system, this is where the Pro model pulls ahead, and let's also take a look at some samples. All three rear cameras support 50 megapixel default, and that empowers users to capture ultra clear, high resolution images at any focal length. Now both models have a 50 megapixel main camera, but the Pro model has a larger sensor and a larger aperture for even better low light performance. The ultra-wide cameras are identical on both, again with 50 megapixels, but then we get to the telephoto camera, where the base model has a really nice 50 megapixel camera, but the true star is the 200 megapixel telephoto on the Pro model with a larger sensor and a larger aperture, again for even better low light performance. Another thing that we could do with this higher resolution sensor is get excellent quality at 3x optical zoom, and then maintain outstanding clarity at 6x, and even get lossless zoom at up to 13.2x, which is sick. Now, I really love the colors that I've been getting from both phones, especially in mixed light, and that's where that special camera that I talked about really helps. It's a 9-channel true color camera, which divides the image into a 6x8 grid, and then it measures the color temperature variations across the different zones. And with some super fancy processing, the result is a much more accurate color reproduction. Now, both phones offer motion photos as an option, but we're getting 4K motion photos versus the typical 2K or even 1080p resolutions on most phones. And on top of that, we can share motion photos directly to apps like Instagram. There are also some special modes for fireworks, silhouettes, and an awesome stage mode. Now, overall, both phones are excellent. Now, of course, if you love photography, go with the Pro model, and this continues a trend where OPPO with their Luma imaging engine creates some of my favorite photos of any smartphone. Now, the collaboration with Hasselblad also means that we're getting an amazing master mode for virtually complete control over every aspect of the photo. The color science is tuned to replicate the characteristics of the Hasselblad X2D, and you can choose from additional preset profiles or create your own. Now, we also have X-Pan mode, which is perfect for cinematic wide-angle shots, and that's something that I've used ever since I first saw it with the Find X8 Ultra. And finally, we have the Hasselblad portrait mode, which mimics characteristics of Hasselblad lenses. We're also getting some great AI features for photos like AI Eraser, which uses AI to remove unwanted people or objects from your photos. We get AI Reflection Remover to help get rid of pesky reflections, AI Unblur to sharpen images, and AI Recompose, which quickly and automatically crops images to various aspect ratios with a single click. For video, we can shoot it up to 4K 120 in Dolby Vision, and for better dynamic range and control over colors, the Find X9 and X9 Pro log profile is ACES certified. Now, with all this computational photography going on, you may have some questions about performance. So both phones are powered by the MediaTek Dimensity 9500, which is a pretty large leap forward when compared with the previous model. And let's take a quick look at single and multi-core performance. Now, both phones have been extremely responsive for me. Anything from typical navigation, making calls, sending messages, and browsing the web has been fast on both devices, obviously, but even more demanding games seem to open fast and run well. And that's possibly thanks to more cooling from the new vapor chamber, which is more than 33% larger than the previous one. Now, both phones use a third generation OPPO silicon carbon battery. The Find X9 has a 7,025 mAh battery versus 7,500 on the Pro model, and OPPO rates both phones as having up to 2-day battery life. Now, something else that's important is that the batteries are designed to retain up to 80% of the original capacity even after 5 years of typical use. Now, when it comes to charging, you're getting 80-watt SuperVOOC for fast wire charging, then 50-watt AirVOOC for fast wireless charging. And you also have 10-watt reverse charging in case you want to charge another device using your new OPPO phone. For biometric authentication, we're looking at facial recognition and a 3D ultrasonic fingerprint sensor, which is faster and more reliable than optical sensors. It also works with wet fingers and without needing a bright flash of light. All right, so now let's do a quick comparison between the Find X9 Pro and the iPhone 17 Pro Max. For the main camera, the Find X9 Pro has a slightly higher resolution sensor and a wider aperture for better low light performance. That's the same is true for the ultra-wide camera. When we look at the telephoto cameras, we're seeing a 200 megapixel sensor on the OPPO versus 48 megapixels on the iPhone. Again, the OPPO has a larger aperture and the iPhone has a 4x optical zoom versus 3x on the OPPO. Now, if you're really interested in getting great telephoto images, OPPO has a super fun accessory. One more thing is that the iPhone does come with a LiDAR sensor, so let's take a look at some sample photos. Now, moving on to the selfie camera, we're looking at an 18 megapixel multi-aspect camera on the iPhone versus a 50 megapixel wide camera on the Find X9 Pro. And the iPhone also has a true depth camera, which is used for Face ID. Now, looking at video, both phones can shoot at up to 4K 120, which is great. For slow motion, the Find X9 Pro goes up to 4K 120 and the iPhone can go up to 4K 240. And here are a few samples. Now, both phones offer a log option in case you want to shoot in a flatter color space and then have more flexibility when it comes to grading, and both are ACES certified. Now, remember that I mentioned a super fun accessory? So OPPO and Hasselblad created a 3.28x teleconverter, which gives you a pretty amazing 10x optical zoom and a 230 millimeter focal length equivalency. It uses a mount that slides right onto a case, and then the teleconverter screws right into the mount. This is a fantastic setup for concerts, for bird photography, or any situation where you want additional zoom. Now you should check out this video. You know what I always say, buy it nice or buy it twice. Good luck and see you soon.